I'm a bad mood, gotta keep it tight. Hold my baby squid, keep them out of sight. Talking about my life, government, stay away. If you drive, I'ma do it my own way. Squid in the ocean, swimming all alone. Ain't nobody telling me where to go. Living free, gotta stay true to myself. No need for interference from anyone else. Squid pro quo, that's the way to be. Living on my terms, setting myself free. Mama to my baby, protecting with my no government intrusion. I control my life.
Hey everyone, welcome to the channel. Oh, happy birthday, Roy. I know it's a day early. So today we are doing, and getting straight to the point, we are doing Greg Biffle's Cessna 550 crash in Statesville, North Carolina back in December. The official, or the preliminary report has come out, and we are going to be looking at it. I did invite Spawn, however, he was up unusually late last night playing games and streaming. So it's anybody's guess on whether he will actually be here or not. He does have a link, but I messaged him and he never got back to me. So it's a toss-up. Oh, hey Tammy. Kirby, you are not late. I saw title up here. Thank you for sharing my stuff out. Always super odd. Jeffrey, good to see you. Gail, as always, great to see you. All right, so Ammo, hey Squid in chat. And these are the streams that I really wish that we could get like the 100 people for. We never are going to, but these are the ones that I can. Am I okay? Yeah, why? What's up? I'm just still sweating from the gym. I literally went to the gym at noon, came home, showered, got the little food, tried to dry my hair. It's like half dry. It looks like crap. It's frizzy. And we're here. I had a hair tie. I don't know where my hair tie is. But we are going to try to get through this as quickly as possible because I still have to go to sleep I still have to go to work tonight. And I have to cook dinner. It's trash day. It's just taking it out of me. Yeah, he was a little loopy last night. On the verge? No, I'm just rushed. Like I was literally drying my hair like less than 5 minutes ago. So my hair is straight from the blow dryer. It's not quite dry yet. I'm still sweaty. Because when you rush, you never quite stop sweating. It is hot in my house today. It is 60 degrees outside, which is great. It feels amazing outside, and trust me, I am not complaining. But when it's been like 40 tops over the last, couple weeks, and when it's been like teens and low 20s at night, 60 is like, holy hell, it's hot outside. So, he was streaming when I went to work. So he was streaming right after this stream. And when I got home from work, it was the same stream. So that's why if you didn't get a notification of his late night stream, it's because it was the same stream that he started on. So, it could be it's 22 degrees here. It's a heat wave in Michigan. Yeah, 6+ hours. I went to sleep and he was still streaming. So I literally got home from work. The little was still awake. She heard me. She got out of bed. And since her father was asleep in her room, I just brought her into our room. Instead of trying to get her to go back in her room. But when I get home from work at night and everybody's asleep, I like to have me time. So I had me time with her following me around. I hopped in the sauna blanket last night. She laid next to me when I was in the sauna blanket. I took a shower. I did a collagen mask last night. Scared the crap out of her. When I got out of the shower, came out of the bathroom with a collagen mask. I looked like Jason's little sister. It was, yeah, I heard that. And that's when I was like, I have to go take a shower. I'm out of the sauna. When I get out of the sauna blanket, I'm literally like sweating like a whore in church kind of a situation. I don't have a sauna. I have a blanket. Like it lays on the ground. It's an infrared sauna blanket and I slide into it. But when you get out of it, you're sweating. So I don't like to go from that to sleep without, a shower. So I was like, I'm gonna take a shower. Y'all have a great night. I'm gonna go to bed after that. And he was still streaming. He was doing his Batman impressions and was like, yep, I know he's probably not gonna show up for the stream tomorrow because he's probably gonna be passed out. Like, all right, so we are gonna get into this. We talk about this. I was a huge NASCAR fan growing up, went to Daytona a lot with my dad. Loved Roush Racing, was a huge Greg Biffle fan. So this hit me a little differently. I haven't watched racing in years, but it did hit differently. Also, when I lived in Milwaukee, I knew a bunch of guys who worked for Cessna Citation. One of my classmates, one of my friends was a bartender, and her boyfriend and now husband, it worked for Cessna Citation. So this is kind of all like aviation has, like I said, not an aviation expert, but I sleep with one. Mr. Squid is an aviation expert. I have knowledge in aviation from my time in the military and stuff like that. And who I surrounded myself with, my mother, I worked a little bit in civilian aviation, but I don't consider myself an expert by any means because it has been over a decade since I touched an aircraft. However, I love talking about this because I am seeing so much misinformation, and even the DCA hearing or the DCA crash, I still saw so many things on Facebook about it was intentional, it was this, it was that. It's like we read everything. Well, we didn't read everything. We have thousands of pages of documents to go through, but we watched the hearing. We saw where the failures were. And you have people that are still online. It's like, tell me you didn't read any of the documentation, you didn't watch any of the hearings without telling me. And it's one of those situations where that's why I love to talk about this, because not only is this an interest of mine just based on my history, however, I feel like this information needs to be out there by someone who is not working for the government or a quote unquote conservative or Democrat or this or political pundit by any means. This person that needs to get this out needs to be, even Captain Steve, as much as I love him, he puts out a pilot's perspective, which is great. But you want water? You want yours? Or you want mine? You want mine, which, okay, what's mine is yours. So it's it was a situation. You took 2 naps. And hey, good afternoon, Jeff. How are you? I feel like Jeff is like my long lost like uncle or something. Oh shit. And and Jeff Grady, thank you for the $100 Ko-fi today. You have made my day yet again. I don't know how to thank you enough for, and speaking of stuff that gets misconstrued and how much I hate misinformation, I posted a picture on my Facebook that was a maintainer humor. And a couple people got a kick out of it. A couple people that knew what the hell they were talking about. Um, one person that got a kick out of it is um is Ammo's girl. Because Ammo Man probably looked at this and was like, what the actual F? So I'm gonna share this just really quick. This is the kind of stuff that I hate seeing, because people believe this. Torpedo found at Escambia County boat ramp, safely removed. Um, I'm not a rocket scientist, and I screenshot this and I sent it to Mr. Squid because he doesn't have any social media. And I sent it to him with that like hand on head face, like what? And he's like, "A what? It was in your local news? Oh my god." And I'm like, that is not a torpedo. I don't have to be if you know, you know. Ioyas to my orties out there. You don't have to be a rocket scientist, literally, to know that that is not a torpedo. That's not one of those. Yeah, but you know how many people in the local media saw that, don't know any better, and believed it. And it's that easy to make people believe things that aren't true. And hey, Andrea, that is a training bomb. I think people were saying a BM-33 or BMU-33 or BDU-33 in the thing. Mr. Squid thought it was a Mark 76. Either way, it's not a freaking torpedo. I'm just saying. So that is how easy it is. That right there is how easy it is to spread misinformation on the internet. Yeah, I follow a group called Maintainer Humor on Facebook, and that's where that was posted. And the caption was, I literally spewed my Coke. Everyone enjoy a good laugh. I was like, yeah, it's an air torpedo. The comment section. Not a torpedo, it's a mortar. That swimmer never swam. Just military humor is something different. I am going to message our friendly neighborhood spawn trooper. And see if he's awake. Probably not. He's probably passed out. But, you know, I kind of called it. But we're going to get into this because we're going to get through it so we can all get back to our regularly scheduled lives. Oh, my goodness. All right. So we talk about this with the we might laugh, we might make jokes at certain things, but we are always cognizant of the fact that there were 7 fatalities. So, yes, I might make fun of certain issues and certain things. However, we always want to be cognizant and aware and sensitive to the fact that 7 people, including 3 children, 2 of Greg Biffles and 1 of either his friend or his business partner or the co-pilot. I'm not really sure who that other child belonged to. But, 3 children. All right. Location, Statesville, North Carolina. December 18th, a Cessna 550 and general aviation, 7 fatal injuries. Yeah, this is going to be this is why we do streams like yesterday, making fun of stupid people, because of the fact that we need comic relief from stuff like this. And I wish Spawn was up because I know he's going to have comments about this. December 18th, 10:15 Eastern Standard Time, Cessna Citation 550, that's the tail number, was destroyed when it was involved in an accident near Statesville, North Carolina. The pilot and 6 passengers were fatally injured. Plane was operated as Title 14 Code of Federal Regulations, Part 91, a personal flight. Hello. Good to see you. The airplane was positioned on the south parking ramp at Statesville Regional Airport for passenger loading and pre-flight. Ground personnel reported airplane was fully fueled prior to the flight. The CVR audio began recording the accident at 9:44:21. CVR recording confirmed the airline transport rated pilot was seated in the left seat. The pilot's adult son, who held a private pilot certificate with a single engine, land and instrument rating, was a passenger in the right seat. A rear seat passenger with a private pilot certificate and ratings for multi-engine, land instrument airplane, and rotorcraft helicopter was positioned near the cockpit in the cabin area. And that person has been identified as Greg Biffle. He was not, from what reports say, and I don't know if it's in here because I have not read this entire thing. However, he was not flying his own aircraft at the time. Yeah, some dirtbag broke into his home and stole NASCAR trophies and memorabilia after the crash. It's like adding insult to injury. Like, I don't know. But this is why we do streams like yesterday where we make fun of morons and people who literally are 2 brain cells short of something I can't say on YouTube without getting some severe hate. But they don't have 2 brain cells between them. However, we have fun with streams like that to keep from going nuts when we talk about stuff like this. Engine start was initiated using onboard battery power, and following an initial unsuccessful start of the left number 1 engine, both engines were started about 9:53. The airplane taxied from the south parking area at 9:59, crossed runway 1028 at midfield, and taxied to the approach of end of runway 10. And these are small regional airports, like county airports, very small, not as regulated as like a DCA or an international airport, or they don't have as many personnel. You kind of manage your own airplanes. You do your own maintenance. It's all private, generally all private pilots, not there's no like Delta that flies in there, no commercial airlines. Sorry for my lack of speaking ability today. I have so many thoughts about this, but like forming them into sentences gets kind of hard. During taxi, the pilot and the 2 pilot-rated passengers discussed that the thrust reverse indicator lights for an unspecified engine was inoperative, but that the thrust reverser for the affected engine was working properly. As a maintainer, I was not a mechanic. I was not a mechanic. I was avionics. However, I don't know, and especially for a Cessna, Mr. Squid does not, I can't say he's super familiar with Cessnas. But I kind of did talk to him about this a little bit. He didn't really have an opinion on what he would have done. He doesn't like hypotheticals, so when I ask him hypotheticals, he gets very, I'm not sure, or it depends kind of answers. But when I talk about these aviation streams with him, I always ask him hypotheticals, and I think it drives him nuts. Actually, I don't think. I know it drives him nuts, but I do it anyway because he has a bachelor's in aeronautical engineering. He is my in-house expert. I haven't talked to any of the AEs who actually worked with the mechs on like these indicator lights. I don't know if as an AT, I would be comfortable having a plane saying that a plane was up if indicator lights weren't working. I'm not sure if it's a downed or if it's a downed thing. However, I don't know if I would be comfortable being like, yeah, your plane is up and good to go if your indicator lights aren't working. Especially for thrust reverser. I'm just a thought. Airplane departed the runway at Statesville under visual flight rules. At 10:06, the pilot intended to activate an instrument flight rules flight plan with a planned destination of Sarasota Bradenton International Airport in Sarasota, Florida, once airborne. The pilot performed the takeoff and departure, while the right seat passenger performed various checklists and communicated on the radio. During takeoff roll, the rear passenger commented that the left engine was producing more power than the right and indicated there may have been a faulty gauge. The pilot continued takeoff. This is red flag number 2 to me. Like I said, not a mech. This is something I would have to discuss further with Mr. Squid. However, he's not a mech either. He's airframes. However, he does have his AMP license, which is airframes and power plants. So he has more knowledge than me. I just have an FCC license. What the hell do I know? Preliminary GPS data showed the airplane made a climbing left turn following takeoff. At 10:07, the pilot commented that he would remain VFR until they received their IFR clearance. At 10:08, the airplane had turned about 180 degrees and attained an altitude of about 2,200 feet mean sea level. The airplane continued to do a left turn and began to descend. The right seat passenger attempted to contact ZTL ATC and activated the flight's IFR flight plan 3 times, but was unsuccessful due to the controller's workload and associated radio communications. Could the tower ground the flight if they reported these issues? The thing about it is this is a regional airport. This is like a county airport. This does not have ATC like DCA or Atlanta or this is not one of a commercial flight. So it does not have ATC like you would think of. They don't really have a lot of. It's not the way that works. And I don't exactly know for sure. Like I said, I am not an expert in ATC, but I do know that these small little regional airports do not have an ATC like you would see at a major airport. So no. And this is where personal flight versus commercial flight comes into play. They report their flight plans, but here's the thing. They don't report their flight plans like you would report. So, it's hard to describe, but they don't have ATC like you would think of they don't have ATC like you would think of like DCA that has controllers for each little thing. Like it's like, and not every airport needs air traffic control. So it's you have a radio communication, but it's not. The FAA doesn't require air traffic control at all airports. It's hard to describe, and I don't know the exact rules from the FAA around it and how they file their flight plans because I am not a pilot. But I don't know. That's not how it works. Sometimes they don't have, because a lot of these airports don't have consistent flights. Like, you'll get flights a couple of days. Like, you'll get flights that won't be here for a couple of days. Like, however, it's dependent on the airport. So I'm trying to find a good FAA. So here, let's trying to find a good thing for you. Air traffic control at small airports is limited. I will just tell you that. Not all airports have towers. So yes, people need to file flight plans, but a lot of times that's why they take off VFR, just because they have not communicated with air traffic control. At uncontrolled airports, the absence of air traffic control towers does not mean that the air traffic management system is non-existent. Pilots are responsible for self-regulating their movements. The system relies heavily on communication and cooperation among pilots. Pilots announce their position, their intentions, and maneuvers on the CTAF, and allowing others in the vicinity to be aware of their actions. This peer-to-peer communication is crucial, especially during busy times when multiple aircraft may be approaching for landing or takeoff. The FAA emphasizes the importance of visual flight rules at these airports, where pilots must maintain visual contact with other aircraft and the ground. So, not every airport has ATC. And guess what? They don't have to. Yeah, they just fit these private ones in between the other flights when they're up. So Devil fan, I love you, but sometimes when I say stuff, I'm not an expert in air traffic control. However, I do know that small airports don't have air traffic control. I am aware of that. But you kept pushing on, but what about this? But what about that? I told you I didn't have that knowledge, but I told you they don't need to file or ask for permission to take off. That's why they're taking off with visual flight rules. They don't have to talk to the tower, because there may not be one at these little daily airports, because they're not going to pay controllers when they might have one flight a day. Yeah, literally my cousin, when he wanted to fly, called the dude and he met him at the tiny county airport. The tiny county airport is like right there. Like, when planes do fly, they fly over my house. So no, they don't. No, they don't. When they are on the radio, they do talk to other people, including some towers. However, they are not required to talk to people when they take off and land at these small county airports. People fly privately all the time with very limited control. If they stay away from busy areas, they aren't too high, they don't need to do too much. Look who's awake. How are you? Are you Batman?
Yeah.
So we were just talking about the we were just talking about the flight rules at small airports, how there's no ATC.
No, as long as you go through the motions, and sometimes if you're at small airports with no ATC, you can actually call the local main ATC and get all the details from them and just let them know where you're from, what your flight route is, what your destination is, and then basically as soon as you're up in the air, they'll have you on the, they give you a squawk number,
Yeah.
So as soon as
but-
you hit the air,
And you
that is
can,
it.
but not. You can, but it's not
Yeah,
always.
but you can. You don't. But you don't have to.
It's
if it's
also
all-
dependent on where you're flying. If you're just going from like one tiny airport to another without a major industrial area, then
No.
most
Hang
people
on a
don't.
minute. Let me get in and say hi first. Jesus
Oh,
Christ!
sorry.
Talk about front end. Yeah, fucking jump overboard without a life jacket. Oh, there's life jacket.
You need lips?
Don't.
Okay, that was too much.
Yeah. Hello. I had a busy day today, so I thought I'd have a cat nap, but that went wrong.
You didn't sleep last night, so you
I
needed more than
know.
a cat nap.
I know. I won't be doing that again. Not live anyway. That was.
I mean, don't get me wrong, it was funny, but hello, Spawn. I'm Batman.
I can't believe it. For some reason I just lost it.
You lost the plot, and that's when I was like, I have to go.
But you have to admit, it was. I mean, I watched it back. I went through it just to make sure I didn't lose the plot completely, and I was pissing myself laughing. Even
I know it was funny but creepy. Yeah.
yeah, I actually had a couple of people on Zoom while I was doing it, while we were chatting, and they went, "What was that?" And I went, "Watch this," and they went, "You're a fucking psycho, mate." And I was like, "Nah, I'm just having a bit of fun." And you went, "So what? You on your own?" I went, "Nah, I was live streaming." They went, "Oh my god, you did that live!" Yeah, and that was it. Yeah. No. But hello, everybody. I am not a pilot. Actual fact, let me
Not a co-pilot. Let's see. I gotta change my.
No, you know what they
let's see.
say, don't you?
What? No.
I had to. Wait a minute. There you go. There you go. That's better. Not a co-pilot.
There you go.
Yeah.
Not an expert, but I sleep with one.
Oh. Wait a minute. Before people start fucking talking.
In the rare chance that one of us doesn't fall asleep with the little. Not the expert. Well, people believe the joke that I have you live in my basement. You're the troll that lives in my basement. But I don't have a basement.
The fact people actually believe that at one point.
I know.
It's just like when you turn around to someone, a plane flying over Canada, over America. It suddenly crosses the border into Canada. Suddenly, there's a loud explosion, and half the plane and the survivors live landed in America and in Canada. Who buries the survivors?
Nobody. They survived.
Yeah, but you know how long it takes for people. You get people going, well, if half went into America and half went into Canada, you know, I mean, they go into this like fucking EM equals squared fucking split atom, and let's fucking
Yeah. It shows. I was talking to someone yesterday about how little people pay attention and connect dots between things.
Well, no one pays attention here because, like, I've been spending a year and a fucking half fucking spoon feeding people, and they still don't fucking get it. Duh. Sorry. Yeah. Anyway, so where are we? At 1011-04, severe degradation.
So I'll give you the TLDR. Basically, they took off, knowing that there was an indicator light that was malfunctioning.
What on the aircraft? On the
aircraft, there was a reverser indicator light that was not working.
Right, and they have 100% proven that the pilot and co-pilot knew of this light, or was this just a speculation?
Yep, it says during taxi, the CVR. They were talking about the CVR. This is during taxi, the pilot and the two pilot-rated passengers discussed that the thrust reverser lights for an unspecified engine was inoperative, but that the thrust reverser for the affected engine was working properly.
Yeah.
And then
Excuse me.
During takeoff roll, the rear passenger commented that the left engine was producing more power than the right and indicated there may have been a faulty gauge. The pilot continued the takeoff. So to me, this is 2 red flags as a maintainer where I would be like, and I sure as hell know the pilots that I worked with would be like, fix this shit. I'm not flying. But that's the military for you. They get a little bougie from time to time.
Yeah, but like his like now it's my turn.
Oh yeah. Engine 1 failed to ignite on the first fire up attempt.
Okay, well, here's the thing. Now it's my turn to do a squid. I'm Batman. And play devil's advocate. Right. First of all, an aircraft can still operate on one engine. Okay, it's just a little bit more difficult. Second of all, none of the flight services were in any way affected by it, like the ailerons and the rudders and everything else. So there's your second thing. Now, fair enough. Like they took off. All right, they thought it would rectify itself. They took off, even though the plane has enough power for with one engine. They realized, shit, it's not rectified itself. Let's do a circle and come back.
Well, and thrust reverser really only helps you on landing.
Yeah, but the thing is, I have heard of aircraft like the C-17 where they do like a engine reverse during the combat dive, where they do that training. I have heard of stories of planes where their thrust reverse kicks in because the computer's just gone, yeah, but we'll play today, right? And also mechanical issues. So it does happen. But this here, the fact that they had an issue, the fact that it was a major issue regards the engine that can affect at some point the aircraft, I'm not gonna. I'll tell you if it's. I'll give you my opinion in a minute.
Sounds good.
I woke up 25 minutes ago.
I know. Well, I didn't know 25 minutes ago, but I knew it was recent.
And I actually went straight into this, like I read this verbatim. God, I'm good. Yes.
Okay.
I'm penguin.
On that, we are going to get Foxy says, if a rooster lays an egg on the roof of a barn, which side does the egg roll?
Left.
All right.
When questions like that come, always go left. It's a 50-50, so always go left.
Knock it off, Flair. Good to see you. I haven't seen you in so long. Thanks for the $5 super chat. Hey, Squidly. Biffle was from Vancouver, Washington, near me. He was a great neighbor, great driver, and businessman. Such a tragic loss. I know.
The whole family, though. That's bad.
You want to call Grandpa again? Yeah. Girl, he's at a doctor's appointment. You can't call him right now. No.
Grandpa's taking over the world, darling.
He's busy. It's okay. It doesn't mean he doesn't love you when he left. He's just busy. If their gauges were not working properly, they should have abandoned the takeoff. From a maintainer's perspective, I'm just uber cautious. But sometimes pilots are a little more. They trust things a little bit more than I would. Oh yeah, when has Spawn Trooper ever seen a rooster lay an egg? Attention to detail, sir.
Listen, no, not. I woke up. Don't make me bring the wrath of Batman.
Don't worry, I didn't catch it either.
I just like I said. I mean, if you listen to what I said, right? No matter what they say, always go 50-50. It went left, so it doesn't matter if it's a rooster or a fucking hen. And by the way, roosters can lay eggs.
Okay, Bill Gates.
After you shove one up its ass, but there you go.
I miss having chickens.
You can't be, discriminate. You can't discriminate in this day and age,
Okay, Bill Gates.
What happens if
anyway.
Yes.
All right.
Well, like we're yeah. Good try, Roy.
Preliminary GPS data showed the airplane made a climb left turn following takeoff. At 10:07, the pilot commented he remained VFR until they received their IFR clearance. 10:08, the airplane turned 180 degrees and attained an altitude of 2,200 feet mean sea level. The airplane continued to turn left and began to descend. The right seat passenger attempted to contact ZTL ATC and activate the flight's IFR plan 3 times between 10:08 and 10:10, but was unsuccessful due to the controller's workload and associated radio communications. About 10:09, there were discussions between the pilot and rear passenger about climbing to a higher altitude, even though they were technically required to maintain or remain VFR. The airplane had descended about 1,580 feet mean sea level and was established on a heading of about 250 degrees at 164 knots indicated airspeed. The pilot initiated a climb, and shortly after, the rear passenger noticed a difference between the left and right engine interstage turbine temperature. Oh, oh no. There were no further discussions regarding the engine instruments throughout the remainder of the CVR recording. The autopilot was either disengaged intentionally or it disengaged independently at 10:10. O2. Beginning at 10:10:14, no intelligible CVR audio was captured from the left seat hot microphone and audio panel for the next 3 minutes and 55 seconds. Starting at 10:10:18, the cockpit area microphone captured the pilot making remarks indicating his altitude indicator was not working properly and that additional left side flight instruments may not have been working properly.
That sounds like electrical. That's getting very close to electrical, because don't forget, I mean, like, they've got their main electrical and then they've got a standby system as well, don't they, in that aircraft? Because it is an old. Oh god.
Yeah, I don't know much about Cessnas anymore. I used to have friends that worked for Cessna Citation, but I have not spoken to them in 2 to 3 years. So, but based on the indicator light that was out earlier, the fact that like the faulty gauge, it just sounds like it sounds like all things are leading to electrical issue. I don't know. The Garmin GTN 750 stopped recording airspeed data at 10:09:37 and heading data at 10:10:58. About 10:11, airplane control was transferred to the right seat passenger at an altitude about 4,500 feet mean sea level. No comments were recorded during the remainder of the CVR recording to indicate there were any malfunctions with the right side cockpit instruments. At 10:11, severe degradation in CVR audio quality began in all channels, which continued for 3 minutes and 5 seconds. About 10:13, an altitude about 1,870 feet mean sea level, the pilot and both pilot-rated passengers stated they could see the ground. Although a positive transfer of airplane control was not recorded, subsequent communications between the pilot and right seat passenger was consistent with the pilot having resumed control of the airplane at that time. The pilot requested the flaps be extended at 10:13:03, made a right turn westerly heading, and requested the landing gear be extended at 10:13:22. Subsequent discussions were consistent with the landing gear being configured. However, the gear indicator lights were not illuminated. Another electrical issue. Yeah. Yeah. Could they test? There's checklists before takeoff, and some of them are. It's not that they test the electrical system, it's the things that they look for in those checklists, just, have to do with things that involve the electrical systems. You're testing radios. You're testing, I can't remember what's all on certain checklists, all on the departure checklists, but you are checking everything that you need for in-flight. And generally, a lot of those are electrical. However, if you have a short somewhere, just speaking purely from an electrical, and this is all hypothetical, I have no idea.
Squid,
Yeah.
I have to shoot off for about oh, wait a minute, hang on a minute, 1 sec. I may have to shoot off for 10 minutes because Her Royal Highness, yeah, I need to go and pick her up. Yeah,
Okay.
again. By the way, anyone who knows wants to learn how to take an engine apart with some bang bang putty, let me know.
All right, I'll see you in a little
I've
bit.
got 10 minutes. I've got 10 minutes.
Oh, you got 10 minutes. I did not see that, but I'm looking at the private plane in Bangor, Maine that was from Houston that crashed in Bangor on its way to Paris. I think that was a weather thing combined with a pilot not having a pilot from Houston is not going to know what snow versus ice sounds like versus a pilot from the north. I have thoughts about that one, but I'm going to wait until the preliminary report comes out I always wait for the reports to come out because I don't like speculating or giving my opinion without I don't just like spewing my opinion without like paperwork. It's weird. I like paperwork and receipts and things to either confirm or not confirm what I was thinking. And I have no problem going, well, I was thinking this, and it turns out I was wrong. But, yeah. And hey, Florida Flipper. However, this just sounds like there was an electrical issue. But if there's a short, it could be, like, if there's a short in something, y'all know how a short works. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. You'll get power surges, you'll get weird things that happen. And you'll test it as a maintainer. You'll go and test it, and it works just fine.
I'll be back in about 10 minutes.
Okay. And then you'll test it another time, and it won't work. So you have to actually get out the heavy equipment and the O-scope and all that fun stuff and try to find where the short is. And when you have a wire that's, 100 feet long, trying to find a short is fun. But that's what it sounds like to me. I could be completely wrong. Like, this is just my hypothetical based on what I'm seeing. But this is just what happened in the flight. We haven't even gotten to the crash yet or what they found. This is just CVR data. And I know this is very technical, but welcome to aviation. At 10:13:48, the right seat passenger transmitted on the SVH Common Traffic Advisory frequency. In part, we're having some issues here. You think? It sounds like multiple failures. Well, here's the thing. If it's an electrical failure, it could affect everything that uses electricity. Everything in the damn aircraft. So, it's not that all things failed. It's you have one thing that failed that affects everything. It's like when the electrical system in your car goes. It's like, oh, the radio doesn't work. Oh, the starter doesn't work. Oh, this doesn't work. Oh, this doesn't work. It's like, no, it's just the electrical system. The electrical system is just tied into almost everything in your vehicle. So it makes it seem like all these other things are broken when the actual root cause is the electrical system. So, yeah. Hey, Too Tall. Multiple failures within the cockpit as well as thrust reverser, second in command not having the experience needed was definitely a big problem at a critical moment. The question I have, and I'd love your opinion on this, is it sounds like Greg Biffle had the experience but was in the back seat or in the he wasn't he was a passenger. He wasn't in the cockpit. But why wasn't he in the cockpit? At least for landing and takeoff. Especially when you notice that you have indicator lights out, you're like, okay, maybe it's not good for you to sit right seat, even though you have a private pilot's license for a single engine, blah, blah, blah. Maybe it's not good for you to do this. Maybe I should be up there. I'm just wondering why, if you have this many issues before you even took off, why things are not always isolated on a car. Your electrical panel, like everything electrical is it's like the body. Everything is connected in one way or another. You just don't realize it until something goes wrong. So, do stupid stuff when yeah, I don't know. Kind of like the PCM computer brain of a vehicle communicates with everything. I've had glitches with it, or it fries and affects the whole vehicle. Yeah. 10:14:05. The rear passenger made a query to the pilot regarding the power to the alternator. Note, C-550 airplane is not equipped with an alternator. Weird. About 4 seconds later, audio quality, reading is hard apparently, returned to previous levels on all recorded CVR audio channels. After the audio quality returned, the pilot made a comment indicating that that was the problem. However, did not specify what the problem was or actions that were taken to correct it. There were no additional discussions regarding the pilot's flight instrumentation for the remainder of the CVR recording. The airplane started a left turn consistent with the base leg towards runway 28 about 10:14:10 at an altitude of about 1,325 feet and 142 knots. The Garmin GTN 750 recordings of airspeed data returned at 10:14:12. Okay, so it stopped at I'm just going to scroll up because it says it stopped recording up here. 10:09. Stopped recording airspeed data at 10:09 and heading data at 10:10:58. So Garmin recordings of airspeed returned 5 minutes later. GPS data showed the airplane rolled out of the turn onto runway heading about 10:14:50 at an altitude about 1,240 feet and 114 knots. Recorded CVR audio indicated the right seat passenger visually acquired the runway and provided directions to the pilot as to where the runway was. About 10:15, the pilot made comments to which indicated he had acquired the runway visually. Recorded data from the Garmin showed that the airplane's airspeed and altitude continued to decrease from the time the airplane was aligned on final approach to the runway until about 10:15:18, when the airplane was at 940 feet mean sea level and 99 knots indicated airspeed. The airplane continued to descend to 942 feet mean sea level until the CVR and GPS data ended at 10:15:23. Indicated airspeed increased to 107 knots, then decreased to about 93 knots during the final 5 seconds of data. All right, so here's Jack and his son were the pilots. I haven't. I've been busy with other stuff. You're fine. You have speech to text. I can't even talk. I'm sitting here reading like, huh? So I get it. And Too Tall, I don't know how long you've been on my channel, but I cover various things. I was military aviation. I was an aviation electronics tech in the Navy from 2004 to 2009. I worked civilian aviation for a little while on the customer service side. My mother did as well. My significant other currently works in aviation, worked in aviation in the military, has worked in aviation, civilian aviation for 20 plus years as a mechanic, among other jobs. And currently works in aviation, has a bachelor's degree in aeronautical engineering and his AMP license. I have my FCC license, but I haven't done anything with it. So I have a degree in occupational therapy assisting, but I love aviation. Okay. Flying with visual ground pilot flying. All right. Pilot comment restain VFR. First ATC contact attempted. Pilot initiated a climb. So this is where their autopilot disengages. Aviation boatswain's mate. I was an AT on E2Cs. So I have no knowledge of engines, really, minus the basics. But radar, radios, I gotcha. Oh. A friend of mine owns 5 planes and run his own charter service. I hang with him a lot. Nice. If you ever want to come on this channel and discuss anything that I'm talking about or have opinions that you would like to discuss, you let me know. Hold on one second. Sorry, I just had to check on my little because things got quiet. And you know, when toddlers get quiet, life goes. So I never claim to be an expert. I just discuss my opinions. And I just hate seeing. Okay, call him. You have your pad. I don't have. Ugh. Okay. Kiss. I love you. Okay. Yeah, the autopilot disengaged around here. I never claim to be an expert. I just like to get things out to people who might not have heard it before, and I like to get the data out, not so much my opinions, although I do have opinions. But even after all the DCA stuff, I still saw so many people that were commenting on it on social media, and I'm like, tell me you didn't watch any of the information, the hearings, the board meeting, anything. Tell me you didn't read the reports or any of the docket information without telling me, because you still sound unintelligent. But yet these people think they know what they're talking about. Oy. Ugh. I have loved aviation since I was a child because my father was in the airport force. Imagine my surprise when I found out he was a pharmacist, not a pilot. I mean, you know, you got to do what you got to do. Passenger flying makes this 180-degree turn. You can see their elevation is not staying consistent at all, which is interesting in the sense of, I know their autopilot is off, but like, were they doing that purposely? Or were they just not able to control the aircraft? I'm just not sure how. Visual with ground pilot flying. They're getting lower. They get higher again. Passenger directs pilot to runway. I reserve the right to be wrong on a daily basis. Yes. Yeah. Like, plenty of people think they know everything, Squid. Otherwise, you wouldn't have content. That's true. That's true. speaking of content, we have more content than I know what to do with right now. We have a trial that is currently going on in a cold case in Athens that we will be talking about this week, and possibly watching on speed play. My petty rewind. We have all the documents in that case. So it was a lawyer or a law student who was unalived. It's Captain James YouTube and Hoover pilot with debrief, done some great videos covering the Biffle crash. I watch Captain Steve a lot, but I also don't generally watch things until I talk about it myself. The reason being is I like to form my own opinions first. And just a lot of the time I'm behind because I got a lot going on. I'm technically a stay-at-home mom. I'm I'm burdened by what has been, or whatever that quote was. Yeah. Oh, there you go. Love you too. Bye. All right. Examination of the Squid Ricada is having your favorite couple on his channel to interview them. I have a favorite couple. Or is it the couple I make fun of because they called me a felon? So every Monday I get a little petty. I read court documents a lot, and somebody in her infinite not a lawyer anymore wisdom called me a felon for reading publicly available court documents. So now I'm reading every court document that she's ever put her name on. It's my petty Mondays. But I do stuff like that so that stuff like this is tolerable. Oh, the felony accuser channel. Okay. Oh, thank you. Oh, Lips and Chips are gonna be on. He's honestly having them on his channel. Oh, rackets. Oh, rackets. Oh, rackets. Oh, rackets. All right. Getting back to this. Examination of the accident site revealed that the first identified point of impact was the first light station of runway 28, medium intensity approach light system with runway alignment indicators, or Mouser, located about 1,380 feet from the runway. 2 light bulbs, the left and the fourth from the left position, when viewed looking towards the runway, approximately 6 feet apart, were separated from otherwise intact 29-foot tall light station. So, wouldn't that... Okay. Hypothetically speaking, and this is just my impact, it's, wouldn't this be... If only those 2 lights were out, what do you think hit them? Using your common sense. 2 lights 6 feet apart on a small aircraft. Think their landing gear was down. The upper portion of the second station, located about 180 feet from the first identified point of impact, were separated, of about which 15 foot of the frangible pole was still standing. Group of damaged trees located about 235 feet from the first impact site were sheared about 12 feet above ground level. The first indication of fire was blackened branches and grass near the west side of the trees. He's talking to them off air tonight. I'm sure they will decline an on-air interview. You know, The ground impression was observed about 350 feet. Sorry, the 50 feet's important. From the first impact site near the perimeter fence and extended through the decision light station. The debris path continued along a westerly heading through the runway overrun to the main wreckage, came to rest on the runway blast area about 400 feet short of the runway threshold, oriented on an easterly heading. Heavy charring of the ground began near the wreckage or near the decision light station and continued along the remaining length of the debris field to the wreckage. You can kind of see, I mean, this is a really bad picture for that. This is only showing the lights, but first identified point of impact. A post-impact fire consumed a majority of the fuselage and heat damaged both wings, empennage, and both engines. Figure 3. All flight control surfaces were identified in the debris path and main wreckage. No evidence of pre-impact separation of any airplane component or structure was observed. Are we really early or is something wrong with Squid? What do you mean, are we really early? I'm actually getting shit done. Oh, it's amazing what I do when I stay on topic. I mean, you can see the empennage. I'm very, very familiar with the term empennage lately. It's been a term that's been thrown around in my household a lot lately for not so great reasons. All right, so you can see all the charring and where the aircraft finally came to rest. No. What do you mean not another Lori situation? Hey, King Paco, how are you? Hope everyone's having a wonderful day. Oh, sorry, you had it on pause. That's what happens when you get old. Stop getting old. I know, it's not that easy, right? Yeah. So engines. Both engines remained attached to the pylon structures and both thrust reversers were found in the stowed position. There was no evidence of an uncontained engine failure with either engine. Examination of the cockpit throttle quadrant found both thrust levers to be in the full forward position and both reverse throttle levers in the down position, consistent with being stowed. So they never tried to stop. I mean, not like that was their main concern, but point being, the number 1 engine stage 2 low pressure turbine blades viewed through the exhaust duct were all full length and appeared undamaged. The number 1 engine fan blades viewed through the engine inlet exhibited various degrees of damage and had missing material at the blade tips. The engine inlet surface exhibited circumferential scoring between the fan blades forward to the inlet. And I know this is very, very, yeah. Very, yeah. I recently turned 75. It's wonderful, the things she remembers and the things you forget. I had brain surgery in 2020. We're actually coming up on the 7th or the 6th anniversary of my brain surgery. So I tend to get a little sidetracked sometimes because I have a 3-year-old daughter and cognitive issues, secondary to brain surgery with a lot of brain fog. So there's that. Oh, she requires you to stay on topic, or she already unsubbed. I've been dropping subs again ever since I've been calling people out on their BS when they get rude. I've been bleeding subs, so. All right, the number 2 engine. Angel, what do you need? If Grandpa isn't, you called him 5 times. He is not answering. He is busy. It's a life lesson. It does not mean he doesn't love you. I know, beautiful. I know. Hey. No, he's busy. He's busy. It's okay. No. Go get your pad if you want something. Do you want a snack? Okay. Can you get mommy's water that you took from me? And Spawn is back.
I'm Batman.
And Spawn is gone.
I was Batman. And a flash of back, like a flash.
Oh my goodness. All right. So, were you listening when you were gone, or do I need to give you the?
Unless I was doing 60 miles an hour, no.
Okay. So they crashed, but the first crash or the first point of impact was these lights, but only these two were damaged, and they were 6 feet apart. So one would assume that those would be the
Wait, go back up, because I didn't have my Mark 1 binocular. Right, so what two were damaged?
this all the way on the left. Can you see
Yeah.
my cursor? And then
Yeah.
this one, second from the right.
Well, that sounds like two. Well, I mean, that means like the aircraft was definitely above the obstacle, so therefore it wasn't the aircraft impact. It could have been landing gear, landing strut, probably the
It's
the
probably the tire, like the
the
tires.
tires. Yeah, it could have been something attached to the landing gear.
Yeah, it was probably the tires, just based on the fact that even the attachment points for the
Yeah.
lights
Yeah.
are still there.
Yeah, and the thing
Yep.
is, here's the thing: hitting that at that speed, a lot of people think, "Oh no, that plane's 27 ton, the wheel, blah blah blah." No, fucking, you hit that, even with a working aircraft that heavy, it will change the dynamics of the flight path.
And then this is the this is where the wreckage ended up.
I rest my case, because like the thing is, had they not hit that, I've got a funny feeling that, I mean, like, I wasn't here for the rest of it, but here's my assumption and speculation, right, with a little bit of dedication, right? If they were coming into land and had engine issues, if they had not hit an obstruction, maybe that light or a tree, they would have been able to land. Go back up again, please, with the picture 03. Right. Right, those little arrow lines there, right? That's the back blast platform or the back blast area.
Mhm.
The first arrows are you basically just after the second arrow. I think you get the actual runway number. So that's just on. That's the threshold over the numbers. So if he would have not hit anything, I think he would have landed on the back blast platform plate and runway, but it would have been a hard landing, because he's only working with one engine.
Yeah. Well, the number one engine, the turbine blades were full length and appeared undamaged, but the fan blades, the low pressure turbine blades, were undamaged, but the fan blades were various degrees of damaged.
So that means they took something into the engine.
Number 2, stage 2 LPT blades viewed through the exhaust duct were all at full length and appeared undamaged. Most of the engine inlet was not attached to the engine. The number 2 engine fan blades exhibited various degrees of damage and had missing material at the blade tips.
Right, here comes devil's advocate. Some of this damage could have happened after initial impact.
Yeah. That, I mean, honestly, that's what it sounds like.
Yeah. You know, I mean, like, I wasn't even here for the whole freaking detail, and here I come as a fucking. And by the way, I'm not an subject expert, and I'm definitely not the co-pilot, or I'm definitely not the other thing, which is covered by that big comment.
Yeah, and Florida Flipper says it sounds like Captain was certified with proper co-pilot, but not recently actually in command of this model, doing something to make the radio work again. Sounds like something generator wasn't turned on.
I don't.
And we'll get to it. We still have 3 pages.
Yeah, I don't. I mean, just to respond to Flipper's comment, I don't really believe that you can say it's inexperience. When a pilot, it's like muscle memory. When a pilot learns something, he will learn something. If he gets in an aircraft, right? If he's not, anyone who gets in an aircraft and they're not confident to fly that aircraft because they can't remember, get the fuck out of that aircraft.
Yeah.
Because
well, here, we'll get to pilot experience because it's right here. Pilot had type of ratings for the A320, 330, 350, B737, 757, 767, CE 500, and DC 10. As a pilot, part of the pilot's CE 500 type rating, he had the limitation CE 500 second in command required. Oh. He was supposed to be right seat.
Not left seat. So who was in the right seat then? Sorry.
His son.
Oh, well, that's where the problems start then. That's where the problems start. Was his son cleared on that?
They were on the coast or verge of a stall in the final approach. They were too low and too slow, hitting the trees and the lights. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, but here's one question. Did they hit the trees first or the light first?
The light and then the trees. But there were no trees before the light. So
there you go.
Well, there were no trees before the light, so it's like chicken and the egg.
Well, I didn't know that, did I?
Yeah.
Yeah. See, it says not the expert. Just saying.
And this is not an expert, but I sleep with one is sort of a joke.
Yeah, and I'm definitely not that expert.
My significant other is
and I'm
an
definitely
expert.
not. Yeah, and I'm definitely not that expert.
But he has claimed that he is not an expert. But if you get him talking, you can clearly see that he is. You can clearly see that he is. But his modesty, if you would call it modesty, like he knows what he knows, but he doesn't know what he doesn't know.
Hi everyone. Sorry, I just noticed that a lot of people saying hi. Yeah, hi Heidi, hi the Women Wolf, hi everybody. Sorry.
I honestly don't know what they were doing. I don't know. I think that based on this first sentence or this sentence right here, CE 500 second in command required. He should not have been in the left seat. He was not qualified to handle this.
Yeah, but hang on a minute. If he is right, the part of the pilot CE 500 type rating, he had limitation of CE second in command. Yeah, so basically, say he was second in command, or he needed someone who's second?
He needed someone. He needed someone.
Second. All right, so basically a proof right then.
He was not allowed to fly with someone that was.
So basically, we're talking.
And Too Tall, I sort of agree with you, but I'm under the impression that they never should have taken off to begin with.
There's a lot of red flags but here's the thing: if he was second command required, or he needed a second in command required for CE fucking whatever, right? This looks very similar to the Pat 25 incident, where lack of experience, lack of fucking common sense.
Well, hold on. The pilot reported civil flight experience that included 17,000 total and 400 hours in the last 6 months as of his last first-class medical application dated April 29th of 2025. So he had plenty of hours. I'm just...
But keep reading.
Review of the right seat passenger's logbook indicated that he had 175.3 total flight hours in a single engine land airplanes as of November 29th, 2025. This was not a single engine. That's part of the problem too. The right seat passenger's most recent first-class medical certificate was issued August 12th of 2024. The right seat passenger was not qualified to perform second in command duties per Title 14 CFR Part 61.55. So they were technically breaking the law.
So basically it goes from accidental to homicide, manslaughter, and pilot error.
My opinions, after all the defects became aware on their takeoff, they should have proceeded to the next airport and safely landed there instead of even trying to do a go around and land at Statesville. Good. That's not a bad idea either. I mean, I'm still in the I'm still in the
I don't think they would have made it to the next airport.
well, I don't think they should have taken off.
Yeah.
I'm just that's just my
Negligence. That's all. Right now, all I'm seeing is this highlighted word across that document: negligence.
Yeah.
Pilot error. So basically, it's like me turning around to Mr. Squid, going, "I'm going to get in that E5 or that E4. I know how to fly a plane. I do it on flight simulation. So, and then I take off, and yeah, how do I land it again?
yeah. The rear passenger reported civil flight experience that included 3,500 total and 65 hours in the last 6 months as of his last medical application dated February 21st of 2025. He was issued a second-class medical certificate. Damn, that was way harder than it needed to be without limitation.
Well, at least the coroners knew everything about them.
Well, I'm wondering what this pilot had going on medically that he needed someone who second in command required.
Lack of experience flying the aircraft? Incompetence?
No, I don't think it was that. 400 hours in the last 6 months.
Yeah, but
I think it was a medical. Well, here.
Yeah.
But they're talking about a medical application. I wonder if he had a medical condition that required him to have someone capable of flying the plane because he had a medical condition.
Right. So, okay, let me. So if you have a broken wrist, a broken rib, or like, you've had an accident, or, something like that, anything medical can be anything. And when it comes to aviation, everything is scrutinized. So, we have to be a little bit unbiased on this one and just say, look, okay, he had a first class medical. So that means there was a medical issue that is no longer an issue because he's cleared it. However, due to HIPAA law and HIPAA, all that crap. But to me, it sounds like it could have been anything. He could have had a fucking broken nose, for crying out loud. Or he had an ear infection that caused vertigo or something. Or he needed new glasses because he couldn't see shit. Everything comes into question. So.
Yeah, and let's get to the weather.
Yeah.
The SVH Automated Weather Observing Station, it was recorded on the CBR audio, reported the weather at 9:45 as wind calm, visibility 10, ceiling 3,900 feet broken, 4,800 feet overcast, temperature 7 degrees Celsius, dew point 0 degrees Celsius, altimeter 30.19.
Just remind me, visibility 10, that's 10 miles, isn't it?
Yeah, I believe so.
Yeah, 10 miles at ceiling, 4,000. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, this right here is more what I was thinking. Could be diabetic, never had an incident, but
Could be.
That's more what I was kind of thinking along the lines of a condition that's chronic, but doesn't cause him an issue, but could.
Yeah, but wouldn't they ground him if he was diabetic? Wouldn't they ground him depending on what level?
If he was military, yes, but civilian, no, with the qualification that you have somebody sitting in the right seat. If he was either military or like a commercial pilot, probably, and that's probably one of the reasons that he was a private pilot when he had all these.
I mean, he's got a lot of A's there, and a lot of B's. So therefore, the guy is experienced. He's an experienced twin engine. The 320, the 330, and the 350. I think they've got
320 has
4
2.
engines.
330 has 2.
Yeah.
350, I would assume, has 2.
The B class and the A class, they're not small planes. They're
for anybody who doesn't know, A is Airbus, B is Boeing.
Yeah, both of those classes, they're not small planes. They're fucking 30 ton, 30,000, 300 tons or 400 tons heavier than the fucking plane he was in. That plane.
I do know this. If you're flying as a like a commercial airline or military. I do know, but I don't know how that affects private pilots.
If you've got medical condition that could affect has adverse effect to you, then I presume that you would lose your certification, because you can't be in control of an aircraft if you go into a diabetic shock.
Well, I can totally understand that for commercial pilots that are under more FAA regulations and military. I'm just not sure about private pilots and how that works. But here's where it gets. Here's what makes me think that is because he needed a second in command required.
Yeah, but I think you're reading into it too much, because no disrespect, Squid, but I think you're reading into this too much, the terminology, because there are some pilots out there who need a more experienced second in command. So, like for skill fade or for check rides or to basically be allowed to fly that plane, because you haven't had enough experience or hours in that aircraft.
Yeah, that's my argument. 400 hours in 6 months.
I mean, I don't know. I'm not in that flight school. I don't know how many hours you need to be, qualified to fly without a second. I'm just throwing it out there, mate. I'm just throwing it out there. I mean, 400 hours.
According to thepilotlawyer.com, you can have a pilot license. FAA has specific guidelines for medical certification for pilots with diabetes. Pilots with well-controlled type 2 diabetes managed through diet and exercise or oral medications, meaning non-insulin dependent, can typically qualify for a medical certificate. They must demonstrate stable blood sugar and levels and meet other health requirements. Yeah.
But the thing is, he had a first class medical pass. So anything about that in there? So we can get a little bit closer to the actual possibility. But I mean, did he have eyesight issues? Did he have cardinal fucking issues with his heart, circulation shit? I mean, 400 hours on that aircraft, even if he's got 70,000 on the other aircraft, 400 hours is like a fucking beginner.
Let's see.
I mean, either way, it's a fucking shame that all this has happened, though.
Oh, yeah. First class medical certificate are for airline transport pilots. You must hold this medical class when exercising the pilot in command privileges, when serving as a required flight crew member of an airline operation if 60 years or older, when exercising second in command privileges of an ATP certificate in an airline operation requiring 3 or more pilots.
You
must have good overall health, specifically 20/20 distant vision. For first class medical privileges, the first class medical is valid for 12 months if you are under 40 and 6 months if you are 40 or over. Second class is for airline and commercial pilots. You must hold this class medical when exercising second in command privileges, when exercising the privileges of a commercial pilot, flying for compensation for hire or higher. Like the first class medical certificate, good overall health is essential. This includes having 20/20 distant vision. Second class privileges is valid for 12 months regardless of age. Third class is private and recreational pilots. Private pilots, recreational student, flight instructors, pilot examiners. So that certificate is valid for 60 months if you're under 40 and 24 months if you're 40 or over.
There's your answer for that first class medical certificate then.
Yep, he had a first class because he most likely was an airline transport pilot. He must, when serving as required flight crew in an airline operation of 60 years or older. So he might have been over 60.
Yeah. So there's your answer.
Yep.
It's funny that you can find the answer in documents so easily. I mean, instead of fucking sitting here arguing and speculating, go to the document. There it is, black and white. Done. So if he was over 60, hypothetically speaking, I'm just playing devil's advocate here now. If he was over 60 and when everything started happening, he was going, oh, fucking, you know what old school's like? Oh, yeah, don't worry about it. That fucking light, that fuse there. Yeah. You know, so he was confident to fly that aircraft even on one engine. That's my mindset. So he was giving it old school. Yeah, I can fly this on one engine. That's not a problem. Don't worry about it.
This is where I get the time to roast you. No second qualified Violet in the right seat. I think you mean pilot. But no, there were no flowers in the aircraft.
I mean, I prefer tulips. You know, tulips. Get it? Tulips. Man. Sorry.
And there is your dad joke of the day.
Yes.
Oh my goodness.
At least he tried. At least, I mean, that was actually quite good. Like Violet in the certified Violet. Can you imagine having a plant telling you what to do?
All right.
Like fucking Day of the Triffids. Sorry.
The meteorological aerodrome report at 10:15 reported weather at Statesville Airport as wind, calm, visibility 5 statute miles, heavy drizzle, ceiling broken at 1,200 feet above ground level. Ceiling broken at 2,200 feet above ground level. 22 and 2,200 is a very distinct difference.
Yep.
Overcast clouds at 5,000 feet. Temperature of 7 degrees Celsius. Dew point temperature of 1 degree Celsius.
So he had good view. Yeah. So he had a yeah. Okay. Maybe that's why he done a tight turn, because he was able to see what was going to see. Yeah, he had a clear view. 2,200.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I doubt very.
For recorders, airplane was equipped with Fairchild J100 taped base cockpit voice recorder. CVR recovered at the time of the incident accident site by NTSB personnel. Audio recording was successfully downloaded from the CVR. We kind of heard that at the beginning. The recorder contained about 31 minutes of analog audio on a continuous loop tape in a 4-channel format. 1 channel for each flight crew and 1 channel for the cockpit area microphone with 1 spare channel. Audio quality of the recording was poor with low signal to noise ratio, and extraordinary means were required to make portions of the recording intelligible.
Old school. And there's a reason why they use audio tape and not digital. There's a big reason for that. And a lot of people always get it wrong. Oh, why do they use audio? It's old school. Why don't they use digital? Well, magnetic interference. You know, digital can be fucking corrupted. You know, slight electrical impulse, it will fucking destroy the whole fucking. That's why they use tape, because tape, believe it or not, has always been able to survive a fucking 100% destruction.
Yeah, Gail said this started bad and went downhill quickly.
Big time. Hello, Gail. Big time.
Airplane was not equipped with flight data recorder, but it wasn't required to be. A Garmin.
I'm just saying it's like, you know, I mean, I watched everything before I sent you that link. And the first thing that came to mind is that it's unbelievable and how unfortunate it is that our whole family's lineage just went like that on that day. It's such a sad thing. Such a sad thing.
Yep. And what's really sad is the mom who's left behind, because the daughter, the son was the youngest child there. The son was between Greg Biffle and his current wife. The daughter, who was older, was from his previous marriage.
Shit.
So she lost her daughter. So
that's you know, I mean, no matter what anyone says, or they dislike or hate someone, when you see children be affected like this, it's no. If you don't, if you know, overconfidence and ego, and thinking that you know everything, sometimes can cause this, ladies and gentlemen. Just so you know, fucking take that to bed and think about it.
The Garmin GTN 750 was recovered by the NTSB personnel. GTN 750 is a combination of GPS, navigator, receiver, radio, multifunction display that had the capability of recording some data in non-volatile memory. Its configuration on the accident aircraft, the unit recorded about 20 parameters for the full accident flight.
Oh shit, they got something out of it then. I mean, looking at that bloody plane, it was like gutted. I mean, I'm surprised they got anything out of that.
Yeah, a Cessna 550. So meteorological information. Their destination was Sarasota, Florida. So total seven fatalities. But this is the interesting part. We're going to get a different investigator in charge for this one. So Edwin Miller from the FAA, Washington, D.C., PJ Beavers, Textron Aviation from Wichita, Kansas, and Bradley Freeman from Pratt & Whitney, Canada, from Bridgeport, West Virginia. So it should be a...
Here's one thing that I find very interesting. Like, it's really weird that air collisions, mid-air fucking, basically everything aviation accidents and stuff like that seem to be coming to the surface way more in the States lately over the last 18 months. It is insane. I mean, like that. You remember that when we first done the first NTSB and we ended up fucking disappearing down this rabbit hole without a fucking compass? You remember that link I sent you about that plane? There's two fucking Cessnas passing each other within feet of each other.
Yeah.
That, I mean, like, how?
Well, and here's the thing. I haven't looked at the data for the last quarter of 2025. I forget what year it was. However, as of the last time I had checked the data, the numbers were not that far off of 2024 or 2023.
Yeah.
What I'm curious about is because a certain person, things get recorded more when there's more people who are willing to report on it.
Mm-hmm.
And secondly, whenever you want to take somebody that you don't like and make them in a bad light, you report more negative stuff.
Absolutely,
and because of who's in office right now that people cannot stand, they are reporting every negative thing that fucking happens. When have you seen, and there is good stuff that happens in the world still. I mean, when have you seen the news cover any of it? You haven't.
Yeah, but hang on a minute. Like, one thing I have noticed, there's a lot of bioism. I don't know if I just made a word up or anything, but there's
spawn language.
Spawn language. There is bioism. So basically, people can be biased if they support an individual. Now, I try to stay sort of like on the fence with this one. Some stuff is done well, other stuff is done isn't done as well, and there's other stuff that's totally out of this realm. But when it comes to people's lives and people and equipment that should protect people not just in the air but also on the ground, regardless of your opinion about who's running your fucking country or not, right? The burden of the duty of care to ensure that every single person on the ground and in the air is safe from A to B, regardless of your political or religious or ethical, so
true. I'm just wondering if because more people are covering it too,
it puts more spotlights on the actual problem itself.
Yeah. Because like I'm not trying to say by any means that my channel is like the best, because it's obviously not. I have a lot of work to do. However, when people who are aviation enthusiasts and not necessarily in the business, have no skin in the game per se.
Yeah.
Are talking about it and
Yeah.
reading the actual report and getting the report, not just a 3-minute spot on the news, but are actually taking an hour and a half, 2 hours and reading the report
It's
in
all
its
about
full.
yeah. It's all about
different.
narrative, Squid. You know that as well as I do. I mean, it doesn't. Here's the thing. I mean, we can sit here until we're fucking blue in our face talking about this. We can go into this in fucking detail. You could go and cover the pilots. I could go and cover the fucking technical stuff. It really doesn't matter. The problem is you're dealing with money. You're dealing with egos. You're dealing with power. You're dealing with corruption. You're dealing with fucking laziness. And somewhere down the line, it's going to take not just one person, but a entity of a collective group to go, enough is a fucking enough. We are dealing with people's human lives here. We're dealing with safety of people in the air and on the ground. It needs to be addressed properly without any bias, and no matter how much it's going to cost, we need to fucking fix it. Because like at the end of the, I mean, look, I don't give a shit about, pardon my expression, I don't give a shit if you are the CEO of fucking SpaceX. I don't care if you're the CEO of Nick Stuff Computers. I don't care if you are you own a multi-trillion fucking business. What I care about is that you deal with safety issues correctly the first fucking time. I'm sorry, but there's no margin for error here, because we're talking about people's lives.
Trust me, I hear about it every day.
Yeah.
Of this got fucked up today, and I had to step in and fix it and tell them that they were doing their job wrong, and this person is pissed at me. It's like, well,
yeah,
somebody had to do it. So,
Jeff, I am fully aware that, like I've said before, when we've discussed NTSB situation, it's about money. This is what I'm talking about. Right? Congress shouldn't even be fucking, like when it comes to aviation and the safety of the safety of passengers on the aircraft and also people on the ground. Right, it shouldn't be up to politics. It should be up to a independent think tank where they can go, right, okay, we need 1.2 billion here for the ATC upgrades and for airport upgrades. And what we'll do, we'll start off with the major fucking hubs first, like LAX, San Francisco, fucking New York, Columbia, Atlanta. We'll do all the big ones first. It'll take 10 years. But we'll do them, and while they're good, we'll get a second company that we vetted 159,000%, and they will then do the medium airports like LaGuardia, little aircraft, a little place like that. Milwaukee. There you go.
Chicago, not Chicago O'Hare, but Chicago, the other airport in Chicago.
Yeah, and and then they can also then take the pilots who with skill fade and shit like that do the training, and then what they can do is take this idea about flightless or planeless, pilotless fucking aircraft, and fucking shelve that until fucking hell freezes over, and you see me doing Torvald and Dean on ice in hell, and basically make sure that a plane.
Okay, I just have to. Not to interrupt you, I just have to address this real quick. It wasn't electrical. The NTSB determined the plane was airworthy. The NTSB hasn't determined anything yet. This was the initial preliminary report that just gave us the information that they found on the ground, the weather information, and what was happening on the CBR. Midway, thank you, Mother.
Yeah, hey, Devil Fan, I don't think you're understanding what I'm saying. Let me try it in Americanese. What do you think's more safer, your life or ego and bureaucracy? What do you think's more important? Your well-being
to the average person, my life, but to anybody in government, the money in their pockets.
Yeah, but I'm just saying that the point is.
See, Roy's got a really good point. You're cursing right now. You're speaking in common sense. And you got to speak in government.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Yeah, fuck the passengers. Let's get pilotless. Yeah, let's get UAVs or UGV. Oh fuck it.
You know,
Let's
they talked about that for a while. We went
Oh,
down
no,
the
they're
went
still
down that
talking about
rabbit
it.
hole.
They're still talking about it.
Yeah.
They
Yeah,
said they want to put one
to the
pilot
government,
in.
it's all about money. We're just a
Yeah.
number. We're just money.
Yeah, I mean, like they said now I don't know if this is true. You know all the conspiracy theories out there, but apparently what they wanted to do is train sports pilots up to a commercial level so they could actually sit at home, be connected to like the actual fucking aircraft and everything. They've done this, they've tested it, and it does work. And that you can sit at home in your fucking living room and fly a plane and then land it.
And
Figure that one out.
And I do have to get going because I do have to
Yes.
get ready for work, and I do have to make sure my little is fed and everything, all the mama duties.
Well,
However, I do want to give an appreciation to the 2 people who hit the thumbs down button.
that was probably wait a minute. Did I hit thumbs down by accident? No, no, that's me. I thumbs up it. No. I was in a rush.
I have to give thank you. Thank you for letting me know that you still hate me, and I'm still gonna keep going whether you hit the thumbs down or not.
Enjoy it.
Because
I mean, my highest was 16 thumbs down.
it's
That was a while
hilarious
back.
because I read a document from the government and gave you my opinion on it, and you still didn't like it. And we made it through an entire document in an hour and a half.
Yeah. Well, then don't forget, I had to go and pick the queen up, and that is more important than this fucking document.
Lori was lurking. Lori.
One thing I do want to say though, before you go, I do appreciate you having me on here, and I do appreciate everyone, and yes, everyone in chat. And you won't be seeing me doing that again. What I did last night, unless it's a fucking good game. I swear to God, last night I must have, yeah.
Too much Dr. Pepper, not enough sleep.
No, that was too much freaking coffee. And then for some reason, I was able to get on that lamppost. And then when I looked down and saw my shadow, I was like, man. That was it. I just fucking, that was it. I thought, you know what, you can have fun.
Yeah. Here, today they can't get driverless cars to work. No way and well, I'll be getting in a pilotless plane.
Oh God. I think technology, like, here's an old saying. My old man, right, and he was built like a fucking brick shithouse. He was a tank. And he turned around to me one day and he went, son. I went, yes, Papa. He went, listen, if you fucking start sprinting before you can even walk straight, right, you're gonna fall over. So learn to fucking walk before you run. Learn to crawl before you walk. So here's an old saying. Before you judge a book, have the decency to open it. Would you like me to do the French, German, or English version?
Well, on that happy note, I will be talking to Mr. Squid about anything that I can get out of him in regards to pilots, de-icing procedures, and pilots training.
De-icing? That's
well, because the de-icing, the issue with the Bangor main crash that I think, from everything that I could gather from everything I read so far, has something to do with the weather and the fact that the aircraft was owned by a lawyer in Houston, but it was in Maine refueling before it went to Paris for a girls' trip. So I have the feeling that weather and the fact that the pilot didn't know that was not snow, it was ice.
Well, they get notification in the aircraft. Squid, there'd be an indication of ice accumulation on the strats, so they'd put the pitot on. Like certain heights, they'll put the pitot on anyway.
Well, yes, but an aircraft right before, I think it was a. If I listened to the aircraft or the audio, I went to the Faz Aviation channel. If you don't follow them, you should, and listen to the audio or I listened to the audio somewhere, but it was there was a jet that took off or that didn't take off, cleared for takeoff, but they did not take off, and another jet wanted to talk to them about why they didn't take off, and they said something at the end of the runway came over them, and it was like they never got de-iced at all.
Oh,
And so they decided to
okay.
turn back. And then the other jet, the one that crashed, took off shortly after it. And I'm wondering if having to have not being from Houston, and I don't know exactly where the pilot was from, but the plane was based in Houston. The plane's owner was a lawyer in Houston.
Could it be? Well, I don't know what they call it. It's a snow flare where loose snow is thrown up and it looks like a wall of snow cloud.
But listening to Ring doorbell footage that was on a Ring camera from that caught the sound of it, it sounded like ice. It did not sound like snow. And I'm wondering if training for pilots needs to change, because a warm weather pilot flying in inclement freezing weather, not knowing what the sound of ice sounds like versus the sound of snow hitting your windscreen, can be the difference between life or death in the takeoff.
Yeah, but I mean, you'd have indication on your aircraft that you're going into a cold front.
The weather in that.
Wait a minute. Yeah, good point. Hang on. Yeah. Because I mean, unless you got the fucking weather.
The weather said snow, but that plane that decided to abort its takeoff.
Yeah.
Another plane wanted to talk to it, and the audio that I heard had those two planes talking to each other that the plane that crashed did not hear.
Can you send me that audio?
So if I can find it again, I will.
Yeah, because what I'll do, I'll fucking put it into my editing machine and.
All right, but I have to get going. Thanks for everybody. Thanks for everyone hanging out with us today. I appreciate it. And Lynn, thank you for being a member for 13 months. That baker's dozen. I've enjoyed following you for more than a year. I appreciate it very, very much. It means a lot to me. That people care about what I have to say. It amazes me every day.
Yeah, devil fan.
And I know I say stuff, and there are people who come back like a couple months later and say the same thing I said, and it's suddenly like this new information, or it's like a surprise, and it's like we had this conversation like 6 months ago.
Do you know what I like?
Welcome to the rest of us.
Well, devil, that's what you're there for, to scratch. You know what I like is when I see people come back after a long period of time, and I just like see him pop in, and I'm like, oh, that's fucking awesome. Yeah, I'm getting used to people now. I mean, Special Devil Fan, he's just like a fucking household pet. You know, when you walk through the door, you got that little fucking chihuahua going. Yeah, you just throw him a little piece, be quiet. No, but yeah, there's a lot of comments. Sorry, I nearly swore then.
My mom worked with a lot of pilots in her career. Warm weather pilots do not always know how to fly in snowy weather. Sometimes they forget to follow the correct procedures.
Hello, Mama Squid. It is I, Spawn Trooper, your favorite Welshman. Oh, yes.
All right. Do you want to yeet us out of here?
Yes, of course I shall do that. What do you want? English, French, or German?
Well, let me see if I can find us somewhere to redirect to first.
Okay. While we're waiting,
I try not to let people just go freely out on.
I did that the other day, and I redirected to your stream, and you didn't even fucking acknowledge it.
I didn't. I might not have seen it.
Yeah, no, I know how it is. You come into my stream, abuse me, and then you fucking ignore me. I get it. I get it. I get it.
So Mo is doing Petty Express, Paul Canero, day 13. So go tell Mo.
What was she talking about? Life Jacket Lips then, if she's doing Petty Express?
No, Petty Express is her thing. I'm Pettyverse.
Oh, I've got a good outro as well. You ready for it?
Right, let's go.
But you have to wait until I finish yeet, and then I've got one more word to say. And it's
okay. I don't have an outro set on this. I don't have an outro video set on this aviation themed.
Okay, no problem. But let me say yeet, and then I'm going to say one more word. It is not dirty. It's not derogatory, but it's going to be funny. You ready?
Bring it on.
Okay. 3, 2, 1. Yeah, yeet. Armpit hair. Bye-bye.
Really?
For now. Yes, I could resist. I'm Batman.